This is the part where people tuning into the live stream all wonder what we're doing and why we're just sitting here.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see. Yeah, go ahead.
No, but I don't know what the game schedule is.
All right, Your Honor, we are live.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. The meeting of the Newark City Council will please come to order. In accordance with State of California Executive Order N-29-20, we are conducting this meeting by teleconference. Council members and staff are participating from remote locations since the City Council chambers are closed. The public may watch the meeting live via Zoom or YouTube. Details for each of these options are available on the last page of the agenda. As a result of technical difficulties associated with the City Hall move, the television broadcast on Channel 26 and the live streaming page on the city's website are not available for this meeting. Public comments may be submitted via email to city.clerk@newark.org, and please include the item number in the subject line and the phrase "for the record" if you want the email read aloud at the meeting. Emails must be received prior to the closure of public comment for each item. For those participating via Zoom, when we get to the item that you want to speak on, please use the raise your hand feature and the city clerk will turn on your microphone to speak at the appropriate time. Comments shall not exceed 5 minutes per speaker, including email comments that are read aloud, and must be consistent with current speaker rules and all applicable laws. Email comments that cannot be completed within 5 minutes will be read up until the 5-minute mark, and the remainder of the email will be resubmitted for the official record. The city clerk will call the roll for all votes tonight. Ms. Slafter, please call the roll for tonight's attendance. You have your, there you go.
Councilmember Hannon,
Here.
Councilmember Collazo,
Here.
Councilmember Freitas,
Present.
Vice Mayor Bucci,
Here.
Mayor Nagy,
Here.
Your Honor, all are present.
Okay, thank you. So the first item on the agenda is a presentation on the 2021 California fire season. Fire Chief McDonald will provide the presentation.
Good evening, Mayor Nagy and members of the Newark City Council. My name is Willie McDonald, Fire Chief of the Alameda County Fire Department. It's a great pleasure to be with you tonight. Thank you very much for this opportunity to provide some information regarding the outlook and forecast of the 2021 wildland fire season, and also to provide some comparative information about the 2020 fire season, the extraordinary 2020 fire season that we all experienced. I'll begin by pointing out the 4 factors that really impact or affect fire behavior, and those are fuels. How much fuel do we have out there to burn, and what's its condition? The weather, including the rain, wind, heat, topography, the slopes, the hills, and how quickly fire likes to burn uphill. And in addition to that, the human behavior, which has been historically has been the cause of many wildfires, many damaging and destructive wildfires over time. So in terms of the conditions for this year, looking at 2021, the fuels are very, very dry and abundant. And there's experience of dead, dying, and diseased trees. And I'm going to talk just a little bit about a drought that we had, a 6-year drought we had that went from about 2008 to 2014. It created a lot of damage and a lot of stress on vegetation, and we're still experiencing that today. And in fact, it is considered that the vegetation currently is still being stressed by the droughts, that 6-year drought. And so we're seeing tens of thousands of dead, diseased, and dying trees, and a lot of fuels that are acting essentially as though they're dead as well. So they're very receptive to flames and ignition sources. In terms of the weather, the hottest month on record was August of 2020, and that goes back to when the National Weather Service started to record temperatures. The hottest month on record was August of 2020, and it was reported in January of this year that the hottest year on record was the full year of 2020. We've been experiencing warmer winters, low moisture content in the vegetation, severe drought, low snowpack, and low runoff, which will result in very dry and very receptive fuels. And I think it's important to point out that not only do we have a forecast for a warmer than normal summer coming up this year, we had a warmer than normal winter, which aided in drying out the fuels and getting them in the condition that they're currently in. And I think that you've all noticed that we have a lot of wind events. We're experiencing more and more of them, and that's likely a result of climate change. So in terms of the wildfire history in 2020, we had an extraordinary year, as I had mentioned, and I want to point out that we had 4 of the largest fires in California history in the year 2020. Starting with the largest, the August Complex, which started in Mendocino National Forest. It was 37 separate fires that started and grouped together to consume a total of over 1 million acres. 935 structures were included, and there was also a death. That fire was caused by lightning and dry fuels. That was in mid-August of 2020. Locally, the SCU Lightning Complex, that was a fire here in Alameda County, as well as Contra Costa County and Santa Clara County. It included 5 counties. It was 396,000 acres, and it included 5 counties. It was also caused by multiple lightning strikes. It was the 3rd largest fire in California history. The Creek Fire was the 4th largest. It was in Fresno and Madera counties, 378,000 acres. And the LNU Lightning Complex was the 5th largest, also in mid-August, also caused by dry lightning strikes. 1,500 structures and 6 deaths. That was in mid-August last year. So I wanted to show you a graphic. This is one of the incident action plan maps that was provided during the SCU complex or lightning complex fire in 2020. SCU stands for Santa Clara Unit. There are 22 CAL FIRE Ranger units in the state of California, and all of them cover more than one county. And so in terms of the SCU, the Santa Clara unit, it covers Contra Costa County, Alameda County, Santa Clara County, and parts of San Joaquin County. So this map was from the Incident Action Plan on August 19th. The fire started on August 17th. And you can see down in this scale down here, this little scale down here shows you that that's 20 miles. So that gives you a sense of how large this area is. Up here, the fire started about 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning from a very unusual, very rare lightning storm that came through Northern California. Fires were beginning to be reported about 3 o'clock in the morning in Contra Costa County. So you can see my cursor there. That's where it was. And this is Contra Costa. This is Alameda County. This is San Joaquin County. And this is Santa Clara County. So you can see fire down here. This started late in the day on August 16th. And it spread by the time we got to August 19th. It included areas on the east side of Alameda County, spreading into San Joaquin County, Stanislaus County. So if you look at this next map, you see the scale down here now is 40 miles, and that shows you how big. So this is twice the area shown in this map as the one previously. And this fire now includes 5 counties, Contra Costa, Santa Clara, Alameda, San Joaquin, Stanislaus, and spread into Merced County. This was one of the largest fires in California state history. And if I could give you a comparison of how we're looking year to date, from January 1st through January 20th of 2020, there were 3,969 fires in the state. And that included CAL fires and as well federal fires. And that accounted for about 98,000 acres. 2021, so the year we're in now, we're up by about 500 more fires this year, 4,460 fires, and it accounts for 126,000 acres. So together, the CAL fires and federal fires are 300,000 acres through July 21st. This is a representation based on June 15th, the condition of the state when it comes to rain and the drought that we see throughout the state of California. You can see the scale up here that shows the different drought conditions ranging from none to exceptional drought. Oops, I'm sorry, let me go back one. And you can see this is Alameda County right here. And you can see that most of the county is in the exceptional drought range. This is an indicator of the condition of our reservoirs. This is Lake Oroville. It's the second largest reservoir in the state of California. You see it's so low that they've had to remove a lot of the boats that were housed on the lake, moved them off because of the condition of the lake. This was a article that was in CNN recently, and it shows it's 100 degrees at 8 o'clock in parts of the West. As I mentioned, the hottest month that we've experienced was August of 2020, and the hottest year was 2020. So how hot is it getting? This map shows some of the highest temperatures this year. The red numbers indicate all-time highs, and the pinks are in the largest cities, the stars. So what's the forecast? Well, I want to play a little news clip for you to begin with.
Tonight, crews that aren't on the fire lines are gearing up for what could be an even more devastating fire season than last year. The 2020 season broke records, and CAL FIRE says the numbers are even worse so far this year.
CBS 13's Anna Giles is live at McClellan with the disturbing data out, Anna.
Yeah, CAL FIRE is telling people to start preparing now because they expect their own resources to be stretched thin. And that, on top of a drought, could hit their crews on the ground and in the air hard. More fires started, more acres burned, and more homes lost. It's the reality CAL FIRE crews are preparing for once again. This year, fires are already spreading faster. New data paints a disturbing image. Roughly 40,000 more acres burned this year so far compared to last year at the same time.
Yeah, it's a little shocking to look at for sure.
Lynn Tolmachoff with CAL FIRE says the statewide drought is causing several big problems.
Last year we had a little bit more rain, a little bit more snowpack further into the springtime, whereas this year we pretty much came to a dead stop, in April, May.
More fires will stretch CAL FIRE resources thin. At the same time, they're dealing with low water supply for fighting fires.
That definitely becomes a little bit of a struggle. We got to make sure we know where all of our water resources are and that they're available to us. But at the same time, we also have to be careful about the water for communities that they use for drinking and daily use.
When these fierce wildfire flames hit, it's the Red Cross stepping in to help the evacuees, people who sometimes lose everything.
And it seems that every summer they say this is the worst summer on record for wildfires. Here we are again.
Spokesperson Steve Walsh says the agency prepares like it will be the worst year for fires every year. People can help by being ready.
This is the time to prepare. We want everybody to make that list of things that they would need to take with them if they have to evacuate.
Yeah, and CAL FIRE says resources got so thin last year they were depending on local governments, out-of-state resources, and even international resources. Now, things have not gotten to that point this year yet, but the fire season is far from over.
We've got a long way to go still. All right, thanks, Anna.
Let's see if I can get back to my
Mom lives alone.
screen. Okay. So these maps show the fire potential outlook based on conditions and based on the forecast for the years as we go through the fire season. This is for June of 2021. We're already through that, of course, but it shows higher than normal fire activity predicted in Northern California. That starts to spread down as you get into July. That's August. This is our biggest month. And then September. So I do want to, again, point out some comparisons. So the 2020 year, the 2020 wildfire year, amounted to a total of 4 million acres that were consumed, burned, 10,500 structures that were destroyed, 33 lives that were lost. And in comparison to 2019, the 2020 year, 10,000 wildfires versus 6,970 in 2019. Now, 2019 was a very mild year. There were a lot of rain showers and a lot of rain that was accumulated during the year 2019, but an unprecedented year, 4 million acres that were burnt in 2020. And one last thing I want to point out is that the cause most often had been human behavior, accidents, things like that, maybe even malicious starts. But the largest fires last year were all lightning strikes. And so, those are unpredictable. There is some concern that we will see that same kind of activity this year. And again, warmer temperatures, drier fuels. So what's been happening and what about in terms of preparedness? Well, there's been up staffing very early this year. CAL FIRE has brought in a lot of additional resources. Alameda County Fire also staffs additional resources when it indicated that there's a reason to do that, like red flag days or conditions that would cause that. But this is the earliest ever that the peak staffing at the CAL FIRE Ranger Unit has occurred. It started on June 1st. The governor has provided additional hand crews, 16 new hand crews across the state, 40 firefighters in each of those crews, and those folks are available for fuel mitigation as well as active firefighting in wildfires. And with 40 firefighters on each crew, those can be split into 2 crews. There's also 28 California Conservation Corps hand crews and 8 National Guard hand crews. There's additional air support and also weed abatement and fuel reduction assistance. And the governor has also provided a significant amount of grant funding for fire prevention grants, including fuel mitigation grants that have been initiated and put into practice by many public agencies, including in the Oakland Hills, the Oakland Park District, East Bay Mud. UC Berkeley just completed a $6 million fuel mitigation project around UC Berkeley. It's also fuel modification efforts in terms of shaded fuel breaks, which create an area where there's a strategic removal of fuels, particularly fuels that are easy to ignite, lower vegetation types of fuels, and just provide for an area where we would be able to slow the fire down and probably get in and be able to contain the fire or at least hold it in that place. Also, grants for forest health and greenhouse gas reduction. I wanted to close with information about an evacuation project that we've been working on and has been launched called Zone Haven. And I think that that's been introduced in Newark. It's an early evacuation and notification program that we use. We've broken out the county into 1,100 pre-identified zones, and that's been done by all the fire departments and the law enforcement agencies to help us identify evacuation routes, provide early notification and real-time information so that folks, if there is an emergency in their area, like a wildfire or a flood, that we can notify them through the wireless alert system or through AC alert, and provide you with real-time information on evacuation. Go to the site, you can find it at acgov.org if you just click on that link. And I will actually provide refrigerator stickers for all of you. If I'd have been in person, I'd have handed those out to you tonight, but I'll provide stickers for you all so that you can find your zone and you can identify how you can sign up for the service so you can be alerted in the event that you need to be evacuated. I'd also like to show you, if I could, one last video and then to talk more about Zone Haven.
Alameda County has partnered with Zone Haven to bring a faster and more efficient tool for emergencies, which will provide affected areas with evacuation information. We live in a large and diverse county encompassing 813 square miles with 14 cities and multiple special districts and a population of about 1.8 million people. We're asking all residents to know your zone. If there's a wildfire, earthquake, flood, or other emergency, knowing your zone is how you will identify if you are in an impacted area. If you are ever asked to evacuate or shelter in place, knowing your zone and following other critical updates for predetermined areas called zones is crucial for the personal safety of you and your family.
Zone Haven is a platform that bridges the gap between first responders and community members. Know your zone to stay informed with real-time evacuation updates during an emergency.
To find your zone, you go to community.zonehaven.com. Enter your address into the search bar and your zone will pop up. Even without internet access, you can find out and know your zone through word of mouth.
Write your zone down so you have it handy in case of an emergency. This new tool will speed up the evacuation process.
This will help us save time that we can use to focus on protecting homes and businesses.
Do not call 911 unless you have an emergency. Pay attention to your surroundings and watch for hazards.
Know your zone to help us get you and your family out of harm's way faster and more efficiently.
Zone Haven does not replace AC Alert, it supplements it and makes the evacuation process faster once alerted of an emergency. We need you to know your zone to help us keep Alameda County safe. Play your part in your community's safety and know your zone. So, thank you all very much for the opportunity to come and present information about the fire season for this year. We're ahead of last year. There's been a lot of work to be prepared and to help to mitigate the potential for the fire season this year. But, the forecast shows that there is a potential for a pretty significant fire season in 2021. So I wanted to say thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Benoon and Mayor Anegi and the City Council for allowing me to come and provide information.
Chief McDonald, I want to thank you very much for providing such relevant information to us and our citizens. I think with that, first of all, I'd like to ask Ms. Slafter, is there any public comments that anybody might have?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Sohan, you can speak. You have 5 minutes.
Good evening, council members. I want to speak on Newpark Mall.
That will come later this evening.
Thank you. I'll wait for that.
Okay, great. So Ms. Slafter, is there any other public comment?
Yes.
Okay.
Manal, it's your turn. You can go ahead and speak. 5 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Manal Shafi, and I'm honored to serve as a Government and Community Relations Coordinator at Bloom Energy, a clean, resilient energy company founded right here in the Silicon Valley. During the past 18 months, we have learned more than ever the vital role of our frontline hospital and healthcare workers, putting our health before their own throughout the COVID crisis. So I'm asking you to join me on August 22nd for our inaugural Stars and Strides community run to support and celebrate our frontline hospital workers. And the patients.
This is not relevant to the item that we're on right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is there a general public comment?
There's general public comment, and that'll come later.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So Ms. Slafter, is there any other public comment?
No more, Your Honor. That's it.
Okay, thank you very much. And then I'll ask the City Council. Any comments on behalf of the council? Anybody?
A couple quick ones, Your Honor.
Yes, Vice Mayor Bucci.
Thank you. Chief, thank you for the presentation tonight. I'm happy to report that we actually had a presentation on Zone Haven recently, and that I am in Newark Zone 8, so I know my zone. Yes. Chief, I guess I just had a quick question. I know that, this time of year, one of the things we do is supply a lot of mutual aid, not just to CAL FIRE, but some other agencies in need as well. So I was just kind of wondering how many folks we got out there right now, how many maybe compared to last year, and how many you're thinking might be needed.
Well, right now we have 2 engines through the Office of Emergency Services that have been deployed to the bootleg fire in Oregon. That's a part of a strike team that included resources from some of the other agencies like Hayward and Fremont as well. So 5 engines up in Oregon. They may be diverted back to California given the circumstances that are going on currently, but those folks are up in Oregon. We also have 2 engines in Northern California, I believe on the Dixie Fire. I think our total right now out of county is 18 of our folks. That's at this point, we're feeling like we're right at the limit on our ability to deploy any additional resources. Last year, we had 60 of our folks out at one time. during the SCU complex. And considering all of the issues that we had here in the county, and as well as a concern for additional fires and other kinds of incidents that may have been starting, we needed to upstaff some additional rigs here in Alameda County to provide services. So we felt like we were pretty much stretched to the limit then. We're trying to make sure that we don't get to a point like that this year. But at this point, we feel like we have all the resources out that we can afford right now.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, those fires, the complex fires last August really kind of took over there for a few weeks, so I could understand that. Thank you, Chief. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Okay, any other comments by council?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Councilmember Collazo.
Thank you. I was going to ask the same question about how many troops we had deployed, but in the report there, it said forest health. And, you know, Trump was giving California a really bad time about our forests. So I wanted to ask, what exactly is forest health?
Well, forest health is a practice of being able to strategically thin out the trees to the extent that there's enough area for the trees to be healthy, grow, have vital resources available to it, to thin out those trees that are damaged or dead or diseased. And that does two things. That actually enhances the health of the forest because of the amount of trees that are in that area, and as well, it lowers flame propagation. So it improves the health, and it actually helps us in terms of the fire output.
Thank you, Chief. I have one more question that I want to ask. I've already asked a few times, and you know, as you're traveling south on Highway 5 to Southern California, there's a lake there, Lake Pyramid. Lake Pyramid always seems to be full. And I know that water from the north goes down south. I want to know why our lakes are empty and Lake Pyramid is always full. Do you know that?
I don't have a lot of control over how they manage the reservoirs in the state. And you're right. I know that there's water that's transferred down to Southern California. But at this point, our reservoirs are bone dry, almost non-existent. And it has everything to do with the amount of rainfall we've had this year.
Thank you. I was hoping you had an answer, but thank you very much.
Okay, any other questions by council?
Just a quick comment, Mayor.
Yes, Councilmember Hannan.
Yes. I just want to thank Chief. I want to thank you and all your staff for providing the mutual aid across our state and the state of Oregon. I've had the opportunity to drive up down I-5, and I've seen the devastation that the wildfires have caused, certainly in Southern Oregon. And our firefighters put their lives on the line. They put their families on hold. But they make that commitment when they join the fire services. But I'd be remiss if I didn't thank them for their service day in and day out. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Hannan. Thank you.
Okay, and if there's no further questions, Chief, again, I want to thank you very much for bringing this relevant information to our community. And please make sure that you relay to your staff that stay safe and God bless them for the work that they do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Appreciate it.
All right. Okay, the next item on our agenda is public comment, and we did have two public commenters at the wrong time. So City Clerk Slafter, can we get the public comments now?
Hello. As I was saying, my name is Manal Shafi, and I'm a Government and Community Relations Coordinator at Bloom Energy, which is a clean, resilient energy company founded in the Silicon Valley with nearly 800 local employees. I'm asking you to join me on Sunday morning, August 22nd, for our inaugural Stars and Strides community run to support and celebrate our frontline hospital workers and the patients they serve. Our ambitious goals for our inaugural Stars and Strides community run will be much more attainable with your help and participation. First, our financial goal to raise and donate $250,000 for the Valley Medical Center Foundation as they support 3 county hospitals, 14 healthcare clinics, which collectively provide healthcare services to more than 1 million of our neighbors annually, 85% of whom are low-income members of our community. Second, our participation goal, 4,000 paid participants in our Silicon Valley 5K run or walk, our Synaptics 10K run, or our HP Kids Fun run. Third, our volunteer goal, 400 caring volunteers pre-race or on race day to further ensure our participants have a fun, safe, and healthy experience. Our Bloom Energy Stars and Strides community run will start and finish at Discovery Meadow in downtown San Jose. And I'm asking you to join us. If you are unable to attend physically, you can participate in our Bank of America Step Up in Spirit virtual run. To further ensure the health and safety of our participants and volunteers, we've been coordinating with the County Health Office over the past several months to ensure we follow all health protocols before, during, and after the event. Tonight, we have 3 requests. First, please register you and your family. Registration is easy at starsandstridesrun.com. Our elected leaders, please sign up under the California Water Service elected official / executive 5K challenge. Second, please reach out to your own database of hello?
Hi.
Oh, sorry. Second, please reach out to your own database of community members. We have sample text you can consider using to make it easy. Third, we would be honored to work with your professional staff to be included in any online community communications between now and race day. Our community and our planet have faced difficult challenges these past 18 months. We now have an opportunity to gather outdoors in a safe setting to celebrate and support our frontline hospital and healthcare workers on August 22nd. Please join us and spread the word through our communities. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Ms. Laughter, is any other public comment?
Yes. Clark Denning, you may speak now, 5 minutes.
Okay.
Clark, you need to unmute.
Okay, I think I've done it. Can you hear me now? Thanks. Yeah, my name's Clark Denning. I just wanted to speak in support of Union Families on the New Park development. My understanding is the developer has agreed to prevailing wage on other projects in the Bay Area. I think it's important that residents of Newark that are in the construction trades have a chance to work in their own city and make a prevailing wage rather than having to travel even out of the county, to make that wage. So that's, I just wanted to speak in support of that. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Laughter, is there anybody else under public comment?
Ronnie Rodriguez, you can speak now, unmute.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I just want to follow with the other gentleman. I'm also an IBEW worker, and when we work in our county, we spend money in our county, and I think it's good for everybody. Just knowing the facts that we're all trying to make a decent wage in this community that we're all in. So just wanted to comment on the previous gentleman. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. And Ms. Laughter, anybody else?
That's it.
All righty. So then the next item on the agenda is the consent calendar. And the consent calendar consists of items D1 through D6. First, I'll ask staff if there's any items D1 through D6 that you'd like pulled from the consent calendar.
Not this evening, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Laughter, is there any items that the public would like pulled from the consent calendar?
There are none.
Okay, then I'll ask the council if there's any items that the council would like pulled from the consent calendar.
Nothing tonight.
No, thank you, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, Mr. Hannon, what did you say?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
No, okay, all right. So then the consent calendar is going to consist of item D1, approval of the audited demands. Item D2, approval of the July 8th, 2021 minutes. Item D3 is a resolution confirming the continued existence of a local emergency due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Item D4 is an adopt a resolution approving and authorizing the city manager to execute task order number 3 with Vanner Construction Management, Inc. for additional construction management services through the end of December 2021 for the new Civic Center, Project 1188. And item D5 is approval of the plans and specifications and adoption of a resolution accepting bid and awarding contract for the base bid and additive alternate bids number 1 and number 2 and number 3 to De Silva Gates Construction LP for the 2020-2021 asphalt concrete street overlay program, Project 1250. And item D6 is adopt a resolution approving and authorizing the city manager to execute a lease with Alameda County for the Allen L. Nagy Library. Would someone like to move that items be approved as recommended by staff, with any items approved by resolution or ordinance being numbered consecutively, and that the reading of the title suffice for purpose of introduction or adoption of the ordinance?
So-
moved. Oh,
Nope, that second.
Okay, and then who moved that? Was that Vice Mayor Bucci?
it was.
Okay, Vice Mayor Bucci moved and seconded by Councilmember Collazo. Ms. Slafter, would you call the roll?
Councilmember Hannan,
Aye.
Councilmember Collazo,
Aye.
Councilmember Freitas,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bucci,
Aye.
Mayor Nagy.
Yes.
Motion passes 5 ayes.
Okay, thank you. And that takes us down to public hearings. And item E.1 is a public hearing to consider property owners' objections and adopt a resolution confirming the superintendent of streets report concerning weed abatement assessments. The staff report, please, Mr. Benoon.
Yes, good evening, Your Honor, and members of the council. If the council may recall, back on May 27th of this year, the council directed the superintendent of streets to abate weeds on 123 parcels of land situated in our city. After receiving legally required notification, property owners cleared 110 parcels, which left the city's contractor to clear 13 parcels. This year, the assessments range from $96 for the lowest parcel and $480 for the highest, for a total of $3,264. This includes the 20% administrative fee that is authorized under the city's master fee schedule. Tonight, staff recommends that the council open the public hearing, act on any objections from the property owners, and confirm the superintendent's report. I'd be happy to answer any questions that the council may have.
I spoke on it.
So does the council have any questions of staff before I open the public hearing?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, then the hearing to consider property owners' objections and adopt a resolution confirming the superintendent of streets report concerning weed abatement assessments are now open. Ms. Slafter, is there anybody that's in the public wanting to comment on this?
There are none, Your Honor.
Okay, with that, then I will close the public hearing. Again, does the city council have any comments?
Just a brief comment, if I may, Mayor.
Yes.
Mr. Benoon,
That wasn't
thank
your
you.
lawn, was it? The $96 one?
Yes, Mr. Benoon, I just want to
Councilmember.
thank you and your staff. When you talk about assessments in the neighborhood of about $3,000, it does indicate that our property owners in the city of Newark are taking responsibility to keep their vegetation cut. And so thank you to you and your staff for identifying these properties, and thank you to the citizens of Newark for managing their properties so well. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay, did we get a motion in a second?
I'm sorry, Mayor. With that, I'll go ahead and move the resolution.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, so moved by Hannan, seconded by Collazo. City Clerk, would you please call the vote?
Councilmember Hannan,
Aye.
Councilmember Collazo,
Aye.
Councilmember Freitas,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bucci,
Aye.
and Mayor Nagy.
Yes.
The motion passes 5 ayes.
Resolution of the City Council of the City of Newark amending the New Park, it's the wrong one. I apologize, Your Honor. Got a little ahead of myself.
You
there.
did that on purpose, I know.
Resolution of the City Council of the City of Newark confirming the report of the superintendents of streets concerning weed abatement assessments.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Pocatello. So item E2 is a public hearing for the Phase A residential project of 319 units and design review for a 161,000 square foot Costco store with a 32 pump gasoline station. Staff report, please, Mr. Benoon.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry, Mr. Benoon. Mr. Mayor, I need to make a statement before the staff presents.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I have had ex parte communications to disclose. I previously have spoken with representatives of Brookfield Properties regarding this proposed project. Brookfield Properties provided an overview of the proposed project, which is generally consistent with what I reviewed in the staff report for this evening's item. I provided some general preliminary thoughts, and that was the extent of the meeting. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I also have to declare.
Yes, Vice Mayor Bucci.
Thank you. Yesterday, I did meet with some members of Brookfield and some city staff, as well as a number of members in our labor community to discuss the workforce program that is part of the general plan for this project. I would say that, most of our conversations were regarded that program and local workforce issues. So no other issues specifically regarding this project or anything else that we're discussing or looking at tonight were discussed. So.
Okay, all right, thank you. And City Manager Benoon again.
Yes, good evening again, Your Honor, members of the council. I'm more than pleased to report that after many years of development, tonight staff will be presenting to the council a recommendation to issue entitlements to develop the first phase of the New Park Mall specific plan. If approved, this would result in the construction of 319 apartment units alongside Maury Avenue near the entrance of the mall. This would include 3,700 square feet of ground floor retail, as well as 12,900 square feet of amenities such as a club room, a game room, and fitness center. It would also include a courtyard pool and enclosed parking. Notably, 29 units would be set aside for affordable housing at varying affordability levels. In addition, this first phase would include construction of a 161,000 square foot Costco retail warehouse. This warehouse, if approved, would be on the southern end of the mall in an area that is currently occupied by JCPenney and Burlington Coat Factory stores. If approved, construction would commence as early as this fall. This project will provide significant benefits to our community, as will be explained in tonight's presentation. As we are all aware, this is a long-standing vision of the city, as evidenced by the planning process that began several years ago that led to the creation of the New Park Mall specific plan. Tonight is the culmination of many years of hard work and dedication. I would like to take this opportunity to sincerely thank all of those who were involved in the project. I'll start by acknowledging city staff, which was led by our Community Development Director, Mr. Stephen Turner. He and his team and other city staff members, including engineering staff, have spent a considerable amount of time working with the applicant and other government agencies. I thank them for their diligent efforts. I'd also like to thank the project applicant for working with city staff and submitting a fantastic project that will provide substantial benefits to our community. Finally, I'd like to thank the previous administration, specifically former City Manager John Becker and former Assistant City Manager Terrence Crandall, for their tremendous efforts in developing the New Park Mall specific plan. Turning to tonight's presentation, we will begin with Community Development Director Turner, who will give an overview of the project. He will provide us with the necessary background and context, including an overview of the specific plan process, provide details of the approvals requested this evening, and describe the benefits that we anticipate that our community will receive. After Mr. Turner is finished with his presentation, representatives from both Brookfield, the project applicant, and Costco will provide details of the project, including the site plan and planned architecture. Following that, the council should open the public hearing, receive testimony from the public, and then deliberate on the recommended actions before you this evening. With that in mind, I now turn it over to Community Development Director Turner, who will provide the staff report. Mr. Turner, you have the floor, sir.
Great. Thank you very much, City Manager Benoon. And good evening, Mayor and council members. Again, Stephen Turner, your Community Development Director. Along with Mayor Benoon, I am pleased to present staff and the Planning Commission's recommendation for approval of the various New Park Place specific plan actions that we'll be presenting to the council this evening. As City Manager Benoon mentioned, this is a culmination of many years of hard work by many folks that came before us. As City Manager Benoon mentioned to me earlier, we are standing on their shoulders and get to do the fun part of actually implementing the plan that so many people have had input on over the various years. So with that, I'll go ahead and share my screen and start the presentation. Good. So for tonight, the agenda for my presentation includes a New Park Place and vicinity timeline to show really how we got to this point this evening with the staff recommendations. I'll spend a little bit more time talking about the visioning and planning on how the New Park Place specific plan was developed based upon the general plan and the master planning effort that came before it. I'll then talk about some of the key developments that have taken place since the specific plan was approved in 2018. I'll then talk about some of the key actions that are necessary to implement the specific plan, talk about an overview of the amendments to the specific plan that staff is recommending. I'll then talk about the three catalyst projects that are kicking off the implementation of the plan. I'll finish up with an overview of the California Environmental Quality Act and the analysis that was prepared for the actions, and then we'll provide the Planning Commission and staff recommendation. So a little bit about the New Park Mall vicinity and timeline. As most folks know, the New Park Mall opened in 1980 with key anchors such as Sears, JCPenney's, and Macy's. And these anchors were linked by inline smaller retail shops that are typical of enclosed malls, including clothing, gifts, sporting goods, and restaurants. And the total size of the center upon opening was about 1.1 million square feet. Fast forwarding many decades to 2013, and Newark really understood that there were ongoing changes to retail trends that were occurring, that were affecting New Park Mall in particular. The attractiveness of enclosed regional mall retail centers began to diminish with the introduction of online retailing and a growing popularity of open space retail centers that included non-traditional retail uses, including entertainment, experiences, and events. Existing malls began to experience the closure of anchor stores, resulting in loss of inline stores dependent on the anchor stores for customer draw. And the City Council really recognized this trend earlier than 2013, because when the city approved the general plan update, the council included specific policies and actions to really address the changes that were coming to the mall. The goals, policies, and actions related directly to the mall, including an action to complete a master plan for the greater New Park Mall area that, quoting the policy, explores maintaining its regional retail focus while transforming the area into a dynamic urban center. New Park should be a contemporary, sustainable, and exciting destination for the entire Bay Area. So with the approval of the general plan update, staff got to work in implementing that policy through the creation of the Greater New Park Master Plan. And that plan established the vision for transformation of the mall consistent with those general plan policies and actions, which would kind of guide the analysis into the future. Also, between 2013 and 2015, the mall itself experienced retail closings at the mall. In 2017, former owner of the New Park Center, the Rouse Company, responded to the changes that were happening at the mall with an investment of approximately $85 million to include some new tenants and anchors, including the AMC Theater, 24-Hour Fitness, John's Incredible Pizza, and a new restaurant row at the primary entrance to the center. These additions to the center help replace lost anchors and small retail and they were the catalyst for envisioning future changes in the context of a specific plan for the center. Then in 2018, the council approved the New Park Place specific plan, which we are looking at today. So I wanted to spend, again, a little bit more time sort of connecting the dots between the general plan, the Greater New Park Master Plan, and the New Park Place specific plan. So when the city adopted the general plan in 2013, again, it recognized the importance of strengthening the New Park Center and its surrounding land uses as described in the Greater Newark focus area. The general plan articulated the vision for the Greater New Park focus area that includes strengthening New Park Mall and areas in the vicinity of the mall, providing a mix of uses, shopping, working, and living, provide a more vibrant retail center by addressing mixed-use development, additional retail, hotel and office uses, and a new pedestrian-oriented streets and public spaces. Also, the general plan vision included providing economic benefits and creating an exciting retail destination. The policies that were included in the general plan included diversifying the land uses, adding high-density housing to support the existing retail, and improving streetscapes and to include complete streets features that encourage pedestrians and bicycles, as well as adding new buildings with high-quality pedestrian-oriented design to create an urban village called New Park Place. So with those general plan policies, that led into creation of the Greater New Park Master Plan that Council approved in 2015. And the purpose of that master plan was to put in place a community-supported vision for an economically feasible transformation of the project area that would support the ongoing repositioning of the mall, catalyze and guide new investment, and serve as the framework for future implementation phases. And so topics included in that master plan included land use strategies and goals, redevelopment concepts for the New Park Mall, the New Park Plaza, Surly-Shish Grove area, and the former movie theater sites. It also looked at circulation in and around the mall area and additional future implementation measures and steps. So those future implementation measures and steps led to the New Park Place specific plan. And implementing the vision of both the general plan and the master plan required a more specific set of policies that provided a link between the policies of the general plan and future individual project development proposals. And really, this is the function of a specific plan. It adds more detailed guidance to evaluating and encouraging appropriate development within the site. Also, it helps guide future developments that must be consistent with the land use type, policy direction, development regulations, and design guidelines within the specific plan. So the specific plan itself has its own visions and objectives, again, meant to be consistent with the general plan and the master plans that came before it. And there's a key sentence within the specific plan itself that really resonates with me and has really acted as a touchstone as we review the various actions and entitlements that are being requested tonight. So really quoting from the specific plan itself, that the vision of the specific plan is to transform the Greater New Park Mall into a premier, vibrant urban place through thoughtful land use design, which includes modern residential areas, generous retail and dining opportunities, community venues, a world-class movie theater, inviting pedestrian-oriented streets and public spaces, and enhanced sidewalks, bicycle lanes, and transit facilities, creating a premier Bay Area and local destination, which will re-empower the regional retail uses within the mall itself and act as a vital economic engine for the city. So that was really important to us to make sure that we were, through all of the review and analysis that we were doing, that we were really meeting the vision of the New Park Place plan going forward. I will also note that the specific plan included policies to create opportunities for the local workforce, and that the plan itself was approved by the City Council in 2018. So since 2018, there's been still additional changes taking place at the mall, including closures of anchor stores, including the Burlington Coat Factory. Also, shortly after the specific plan was approved by council, the city and Brookfield initiated our initial project discussions for the mall area. Of course, in 2020, the city went through COVID, and the mall certainly was affected by the related closures and restrictions for indoor retail. But on the good news, Costco was identified as a potential new anchor tenant for the mall. And really that all of those discussions led into our initial discussions about how we achieve the vision for this specific plan. And working closely with Brookfield and their team, along with the city, we really set out to try to achieve that vision and look at what New Park Mall could be created into the future. And so I'll go through and identify those initial projects that are part of tonight's entitlement discussion in more detail. And then the Brookfield team will also describe their vision in terms of retail and phase development over time for the area. So in order to implement that vision, there are implementation steps that need to be taken as directed by the specific plan itself. The first to involve amending the general plan, and we would be amending the general plan the land use map, indicating that the specific plan boundary is governed by the specific plan itself. We would also have a zoning amendment to create a plan development overlay district, and the specific plan would act as the plan development plan for the plan development district. We would also designate the plan development overlay on the zoning map. And so those are the first two actions that are necessary, again, to implement the specific plan and connect it to development that would take place in the specific plan area. The second part of implementation involves amending the specific plan itself. And although it's not required to do so, through the nature of the Brookfield proposed projects, the staff felt that amendments were necessary. So the projects that were submitted by Brookfield, including the layout and design of the projects, were not entirely consistent with portions of this specific plan, but are considered by staff to be an overall beneficial improvement to the plan area that would maintain the specific plan's vision for New Park Place. And as a result, the specific plan requires amendments to revise various sections of the plan, including the master site plan, street sections, open space, policies, figures, and tables, and implementation measures. In the project packet, council packet for tonight, the resolution contains the complete specific plan with all of the amendments shown as tracked changes. And so I wanted to just briefly go over the various components of the specific plan amendments in some detail, but in summary here. And they're really categorized in 6 different sections. So the first is geographical orientation. We wanted to update the hierarchy of geographical areas and place names so that they're more consistent throughout the specific plan. Then in land use, we had to make minor adjustments to the development capacity, as I will just describe a little bit later on. We also included new retail policies and the requirement for a new retail sub-plan to guide the retail development at the mall. Again, referring back to the vision of the specific plan, really to create and enhance the retail opportunities at the mall. We also made revisions and improved the open space policies and the open space subplan to really connect the open spaces, the pedestrian areas to the retail and the other uses that are proposed at the site to really create a walkable pedestrian environment within the plan area. Moving on to mobility, you'll see that we'll made revisions to portions of the street sections, also made minor revisions to the requirements for the circulation subplan, as well as the mobility, transit, and parking subplans as well. In infrastructure, we've also made very minor changes to the requirements for the water, sewer, and stormwater subplans. In the implementation section, we made minor consistency revisions for phasing of projects and implementation. And then finally, in design guidelines, we made minor changes for the refinement of the specific design guidelines that are required there. So going into a little bit more detail. Oh, by the way, I will be focusing the rest of next portion of my presentation on the geographical orientation, land use, and mobility sections and revisions of the plan. So starting with geographical orientation, again, we wanted to make sure that all of the place names and the areas described within the specific plan are consistent and kind of make sense as you read through it. And so I wanted to walk you through this image about those kind of geographical clarifications and changes. So this is an image of the existing New Park Mall, and the red line outline represents the New Park Place specific plan area. The greater New Park focus area is here shown in blue, and this is the area that was identified in the general plan and the master plan as areas seeking redevelopment and improvements. So you'll notice, in addition to the specific plan area, it also includes areas to the north of Maury Avenue, and includes a portion of Cedar as it kind of wraps around and heads up towards the freeway. But that represents the greater New Park focus area. Then again, we have the specific plan area, which is the area in green, again outlined in the red dashed line. And then we have the New Park Place or center, and that really represents the New Park Mall area that is defined within the ring road. And we're adjusting the name to New Park Mall Road from New Park Boulevard to differentiate the names between other names within the city and make clarifications there. Moving on to land use, wanted to present the specific plan land use diagram that was included in the 2018 approved plan. So this is the diagram that shows the various land uses that would be allowed in the mixed use area 1 area, which is really defined by the ring road on this image shown as New Park Boulevard. So you'll see the mall areas kind of in the center with Sears over on the left side, JCPenney's over on the right, Macy's kind of down below in the box, and the AMC theaters kind of in light red up above. There would be a new kind of semicircle road called New Park Avenue. And between New Park Avenue and the former New Park Boulevard, there is a number of blocks that would contain the mixed uses that would be allowed there, the retail, office, and residential opportunities, along with street-facing retail in blue. And then the gray boxes represent parking garages that would serve the parking in the area. The yellow area in the center was identified as an event space, parking during normal hours, but could also be transformed into an area where events and farmers markets and performances and other types of things could take place as well. You'll see in between the event area and the mall buildings, there are areas for retail plazas and open spaces on both ends of the mall that would provide those open space opportunities that are there. So my next slide will be an image of the master plan as it's proposed now. And you'll see that in some cases it's very different, but others are the same. One of the biggest changes that is made to the master plan is to prepare the site for Costco. And a new parcel would be created for Costco, as you can see over on the right-hand side. And that would require the demolition of the JCPenney building, the Burlington Coat Factory, and a portion of the inline mall. The rest of the mall remains generally the same, with Macy's and AMC theaters retaining their locations. The Sears area gets redeveloped into a retail and co-working area that would front upon an event space in between the first phase of residential phase A and the retail and co-working area. The residential blocks were also redefined and enlarged to accommodate the residential capacity that is planned for future phases. And then you'll notice that semicircle kind of road in the center has been adjusted as well to create a new food and beverage retail district that would act as a slow street that would connect the various open spaces in and around the area. And so those changes are kind of represent what staff and Brookfield are proposing that would help guide and set the development for future phases going forward. As I mentioned earlier, we have to make some minor changes to the development capacity within the specific plan. There's no significant changes to the retail, office, hotel, and residential development capacities, but there are minor adjustments to existing development, and we do have to make a transfer of area between the retail and restaurant category to accommodate the retail anchor for Costco in the mixed use Area 1. And so you'll see that minor change appear in the retail area on the top row, and then approximately 107,000 square feet would be swapped between retail, restaurant, and retail anchor. But beyond that, there's no other significant changes to the development capacity as compared to the 2018 plan. Still keeping with land use, as I mentioned earlier, having strong retail plans and policies is critical to meet the vision of the specific plan. And so there's been a number of changes to make sure that the projects do meet that vision. Certainly having Costco as a major replacement anchor is key and critical to the mall area, and will be a significant benefit to the city going forward. We do recognize that there is some downsizing of the existing inline retail to accommodate Costco, but we also think that downsizing of that retail will improve the quality of the remaining retail, and the Brookfield team will go into that in a little bit more detail in their presentation, as well as the organization of the remaining inline retail into 5 general zones of retail. Again, Brookfield will go into more detail on that. Creation of a new outdoor retail food and beverage district really, as you can see kind of an image in the top image there, really provides an opportunity for really creating a very lively and active public space that we think is crucial to the overall success of the mall and the center. And also certainly redevelopment of the Sears and the new retail plaza and event space really would tie and create a performance space, an event space where gatherings could happen, but then tie into the various other open spaces down the food and beverage street that again would provide that connectedness of open space throughout the plan area. We also have policies in there to really coordinate leasing, event programming, and maintenance up and down the center to make sure that the area is planned and maintained in a coordinated and proper way. Before moving on, I wanted to provide and make sure council was aware of the changes to the retail area itself. So under the existing New Park Mall, again, we have about a little bit more than 1 million square feet of retail square footage. And we have a number of buildings, as I mentioned, that would be demolished as part of this program. So Sears, JCPenney, Burlington, and a portion of the inline mall would all result in a reduction in mall square footage from, again, a little over 1 million square feet to a little over 600,000 square feet. However, there would be redevelopment, of course, at the mall through the addition of a Costco of a little over 161,000 square feet. The redeveloped Sears box would add and bring another approximately 63,000 square feet. And then there'd be ground floor retail in the residential buildings of about 23,000 square feet, totaling an addition of about 247,000 square feet. So if you add what's being added to the resulting New Park Mall area after the demolition, you come up with a revised mall square footage of about 848,000 square feet, which represents a reduction overall of about 187,000 square feet of mall space. Again, the anticipation is that the smaller areas will attract a higher quality of retail and therefore bring additional benefits to the city in terms of sales taxes, property taxes for the redevelopment, and other fees as well, probably resulting in about $6.6 million per year in a net fiscal benefit to the city. And Brookfield will go into that a little bit more in their presentation as well. Wanted to spend a little bit of time on land uses in particular. Again, that's a very important component of the success of the plan. I mentioned the Phase A Event Center, which is the area between Phase A and the Sears building. Again, a very large area that will provide open space, gathering opportunities, opportunities for events and programming in that area that will then wrap around to other areas within the plan area. It's seen here in green. At the intersections of various streets, you would have nodes or intersections that would be have landscaping and areas for people to sit and enjoy. That's true here over near Macy's. You'll also see that there's a new pedestrian paseo that would connect the food and beverage district and restaurant row over to Sis Grove. And we think that's a big improvement. In the prior plan, that was meant to be an automobile street, or for automobiles primarily. That's been changed over to a pedestrian area. And we think that that's going to create a great connection between the park and the mall itself. We definitely see people enjoying events at the park, then maybe heading over to the mall for dinner or shopping as well. So you'll see, and again in green, the open space areas do kind of wrap around the mall and create those opportunities for gathering and for events. The blue area represents some flexible space that could be blocked off to create those same types of events that the city envisioned: farmers markets and other types of events and celebrations and festivals that could be programmed in that area and would not cut off automobile circulation to parking within the area. Wanted to provide a couple of images just on the open space areas themselves as they're kind of conceptually thought of in this area. Again, here is the former Sears building with the retail and co-working areas and retail areas. There'd be an event lawn, some step seating, shade canopies, kiosks, and landscape areas for people to meet and to enjoy. Restaurant row, again, would be designed with wide sidewalks, opportunities for outdoor dining, really creating a lively environment. As you'll see, there is some parking that is available along restaurant row, so it can provide some safe and convenient parking for folks who want to visit there. And a couple of renderings are also shown on the right there of those two areas. Again, one of my favorite areas is the paseo that connects Sis Grove with the mall. This is an image of what that might look like. Again, a very tree-lined area with, I think, very playful hardscape areas that will really encourage folks to travel back and forth between the park and the mall itself. Sis Grove remains a very important component of the specific plan. And that continues even with the revisions and changes that staff is proposing. The improvements to the Sis Grove remain at the second phase of residential development. So essentially by the 400th building permit and approval of that and construction of that, the improvements to Sis Grove Park need to be completed. The requirement to prepare a conceptual park plan was eliminated from the specific plan in that the citywide parks and master plan already give a pretty good sense of the types of improvements that are envisioned at Sis Grove. And that's the image that you see here is an image from the parks master plan that talks about the types of improvements that are made. The applicant and developer is still required to prepare those plans for city review prior to issuance of a building permit for that 400th residential unit, and then have the Sis Grove improvements completed by the construction of that second phase of development. Moving now on to mobility. This is the section which focuses on how people and cars and bicyclists and pedestrians move in and around the specific plan area. So a couple of the changes that were made were street sections were revised to reflect the width of existing privately owned areas used for roadways, which are narrower than the original specific plan assumptions. The new street sections retain the complete streets objectives of adding pedestrian walkways and bike lanes for enhanced non-vehicular mobility, but in some areas may not achieve these improvements on both sides of the street. Circulation is going to be enhanced with the creation of the new Street A, that's the food and beverage street that you see in dark blue, as well as improvements to the Maury and Alpenrose intersections and the Ballantine entry at the south end. Lane modifications and signals will be installed per the circulation subplan. Bicycle transportation is enhanced with new bike lanes and parking locations throughout the plan area, and transit is also enhanced with improvements to the existing bus facility up near AMC theaters, as well as a process for future transit facilities and routes as described within the transit subplan. Wanted to speak now a little bit about automobile parking and the changes that are anticipated here. In the 2018 specific plan, that retained the existing parking structure next to the former J.C. Penney's building, but added 2 more structures near Macy's and AMC Theater to support the existing and proposed retail and replace existing parking fields. But those 2 freestanding parking structures were eliminated in the revisions that staff is proposing in favor of ground floor parking levels in blocks B2 and C. And these would be shared parking facilities with the residential uses. And they would be operationally separated from the residential parking. So if you come to the center and want to park in blocks B2 or C, you could do so very easily without conflicting with the residential parking spaces that are again set aside for the residential uses. The plan also does have significant number of surface parking spaces, again by AMC Theater, that retains that parking field, as well as new parking spaces around Costco of about 405 spaces, and then reconfiguration of spaces on the second level, the second level of Macy's above Costco, about 283 spaces. There'd also be on-street parking as designated by the blue lines on this image. So now moving over to the 3 catalyst projects that we think are going to kickstart and jumpstart the major changes out at the mall. And this first phase of residential is extremely important for that. It includes 319 units made up of 43 studios, about 181 bedrooms, 92 2-bedrooms, and 5 3-bedrooms, and about 13,000 square feet of residential amenities, 3,700 square feet of ground floor retail, and then 506 parking stalls within a kind of a center parking garage. With that project, as mentioned earlier, the city and Brookfield have been negotiating and considering a way to provide units, affordable units on site in lieu of paying the impact fee. As you know, all development needs to pay into an impact fee to offset the impacts of that development on the need for housing. However, the ordinance and resolution allows for an alternative plan. And so staff in Brookfield have been working towards the creation of that alternative plan. What we've ended up is that 9% of the units within phase A would be set aside as affordable for very low, low, and moderate income. So there would be 4 units for very low income households, 9 units for low income households, and 16 units for moderate income households. So we think this provides a number of benefits. Number one, that we would get these units immediately and concurrently with the market rate units that would be provided. It provides an opportunity for households who are renting these units to live within a market rate development and with all of the amenities that come with that. Having affordable units also within phase A brings the opportunity of living close to where jobs are at. So you could definitely see folks who are living in phase A, both in the market rate units and in these affordable units, working close by. And we think that that provides a benefit to the city as well. So overall, we're very pleased with our discussions with Brookfield and negotiations to come up with the affordable housing program that you see here, and would be anxious in getting that project started so that we can provide this benefit to our community quickly. The second catalyst project is Costco, and Costco would be located at the southern portion of the mall on the site that is occupied by JCPenney's and the Burlington Coat Factory. Those would be removed, as I mentioned, to accommodate Costco, and as well as approximately 84,000 square feet, a portion of the existing mall would also be removed to accommodate Costco. Costco would include also a 32 pump retail fuel facility, and that all located on about a 10.8 acre site. Again, Costco would be about 161,000 square feet. That would include a bakery, a pharmacy, optical center, hearing and testing center, a food court, a photo center, tire sales and installation center, as well as a 10,340 square foot open air canopy. The retail fuel facility will include 4 covered fueling bays, each with 4 gas dispensers that fuel 2 cars with a total fueling capacity for 32 pumps. The fueling station would also have 8 stacking lanes, which would provide capacity for 32 vehicles waiting for those pumps to open. In addition, there would be a new mall entrance up at the upper level near the Macy's entrance to provide new opportunities for new retail or restaurant space within that area. And I will note that the project is consistent with the specific plan and the development regulations in the specific plan and the applicable subplan requirements. The third project is approval of a vesting tentative map. And this map, as you'll see in your materials, does a number of things. It revises and increases the number of parcels in the center. It creates the residential blocks and the new streets, establishes the infrastructure and utilities that are required for the construction of each of the specific phases. It establishes the open spaces and the development phase that are responsible for constructing those open spaces. And it defines the road sections for each segments of the roadway and the development phase that would construct those road segments. Wrapping up then with comments on the California Environmental Quality Act, the initial study, and the findings. So the actions that are recommended by staff to amend the plans, establish the zoning, and approve the individual projects are subject to review under the California Environmental Quality Act. The environmental review for the policies and regulations contained within the general plan and specific plan has occurred in several steps. So the first was the environmental impact report that was prepared for the general plan. That report analyzed the development capacity for the greater New Park focus area. Then the preparation of the 2018 New Park Place specific plan was analyzed for environmental impacts through an initial study. The development proposed and authorized by the specific plan fit within the parameters of the development capacities analyzed in the general plan. The 2018 specific plan initial study concluded that no additional environmental review was necessary pursuant to the streamlining provisions of the CEQA guidelines. The amendment to the general plan, the specific plan, the plan district zoning, and the individual project approvals for the tentative map and design review were the subject of a second initial study. And this is the study that's presented to you this evening. The study was prepared pursuant to the CEQA guidelines, in particular section 15183, as the uses and development capacities are within the limits studied by the general plan EIR and the 2018 specific plan. The development proposed is within the general plan parameters, and the amount of regional retail diminishes with the removal of 3 anchor stores, replaced by 1 Costco and a portion of the inline mall retail area. This new initial study concludes that the proposed project actions would not result in an increased development capacity or changes in the type or intensity of development or site improvements already planned or anticipated in the specific plan. Nor would the project actions directly result in development types that were not already assumed and evaluated in the general plan EIR and the specific plan initial study. So therefore, the project actions would not result in any new or more severe environmental impacts than identified in the general plan EIR and the specific plan initial study. So that leads us finally to the recommendations. The Planning Commission held a meeting on June 22nd and received a staff report and conducted a public hearing and received public testimony on the consideration of the specific plan actions. The Planning Commission considered all of that information and testimony and made a motion to approve the staff recommendation on a 5-0 vote. So therefore, Planning Commission and staff are recommending approval of the general plan amendment, the specific plan amendment, the zoning map and text amendments, including the Plan Development Overlay District, the design review for Phase A and Costco projects, as well as an alternative compliance to payment of the Affordable Housing Impact Fee, and then finally the vesting tentative map. Staff has one more addition to the resolution. So in addition to approving the proposed resolution and ordinance, staff is recommending that council's motion, including approving the resolution relating to the general plan, specific plan, design review, and the alternative means of compliance to the affordable housing impact fees, to include a severability clause approved by the city attorney. If so approved, the city attorney will modify the resolution and include the language that is provided on this slide. As I conclude, I certainly want to highlight city staff and consultants that are joining us tonight, as well as many of the consultants and staff that have contributed to this project over the years. But for tonight, in addition to myself, we have Art Interiano, the Deputy Community Development Director, Diana Kango, Senior Civil Engineer, Ann Stedler, our Economic Development Manager, Pat O'Keefe, our Special Advisor from Management Partners, who really assisted staff throughout this project, and from EMC Planning Group, Polaris Kinnison Brown. They're the group that originally prepared the specific plan, as well as the CEQA analysis. So that concludes staff's presentation. Certainly available to answer any clarifying questions before the presentation continues from the Brookfield team. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Turner. Is there any clarifying questions before we proceed to the next presenter?
I have a quick one, Your Honor.
Yes, Council Member or Vice Mayor Bucci.
Thank you. Mr. Turner, when we originally looked at this, the inner ring road was going to be a big part of the traffic flow. Now with the changes to that, and I'm wondering about the scheduling of the egress on especially the Stevenson side with Costco coming in, but also the upgrades to the Maori side for getting in and out. Is that going to be part of phase one as well?
Well, yes. I mean, the phase one will include improvements to the Maori and Alpenrose intersections to add additional capacity. I'll come back, I'll reshare my screen and go back to, excuse me. Oops, that's right. So this is the mobility section. So in terms of improvements with phase A, there would be improvements to the Maori and Alpenrose intersection. There will be an extension of a left turn queue lane to accommodate more vehicles trying to make a left turn into New Park Mall Road. There'll also be a new signalized intersection that will help control and move traffic around that area. As well as in future phases, there'll be opportunities for automobile circulation from Cedar Boulevard up and down North and South Magazine Streets that would potentially then enter the public shared parking garages off of North Magazine and South Magazine in these two areas here. So there will be multiple ways to move your car in and out of the plan area, as well as, of course, the Ballantyne and New Park Mall Road areas as well. We think that most folks that would be visiting Costco would likely be taking, if they're coming on the freeway, the Stevenson Boulevard exit, then coming down to Ballantyne Drive and accessing the parking field at Costco through that way, rather than coming down Maury and then making your way around the ring road to Costco. So we feel that through our analysis of the automobile circulation, those improvements will result in appropriate and safe traffic flow around the area.
Yeah, the Ballantyne entrance is certainly a concern with Costco going in right there. I've seen how traffic is backed up in Fremont out onto the main roads, keeping people from entering other sections of the shopping area over there. Real quick, the exit that is currently east of Citibank, that little single lane road that goes out right near the freeway entrance, is that going to be upgraded as well?
The area by, let's see.
It's east of the Alpine Rose.
Right. No, I don't believe that there are any improvements proposed to that area. I might look perhaps to our senior civil engineer, Diana Kango, if she's still on, if she has any comments on that. But I don't believe that there are any planned improvements for that.
That's correct. There are no improvements to the pavement, but there will be an addition of sidewalk improvements on one side.
I guess I'm just trying to make sure that we're taking that area into consideration when we're talking about getting cars out of the New Park area. A lot of folks use that, and with the phase one of that apartment complex going right there, I imagine a lot of people who would want to be living there would be trying to get out that direction. So just something to think about. All right. Thank you, Mr. Turner.
Thank you.
Mayor, I have a couple of clarifying questions, if I may, as well.
Councilmember Hannan.
Thank you, Mayor. Stephen, could you give a little bit more detail on what's anticipated in the remaining 62,000 square feet of the Sears building? I kind of got the impression it was going to be kind of small commercial office type uses. Is that what you envision for that remaining Sears area?
Yeah, certainly the Brookfield team can go into more detail, but I think the intent is to have a co-working concept on the top floor, which means it's an opportunity for folks who may not work in a traditional office to go to a kind of an office-like setting that is not associated with a particular business and have access to a computer, printer, desk, telephone, internet, that type of thing on a kind of an as needed basis. Then down below would be opportunities for retail and other commercial types of uses. Specific tenants haven't been identified yet to my knowledge, and the Brookfield team again can speak to that maybe a little bit more in detail in their presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, if there's no further questions, then you have two other presenters.
Yeah, I think I will go ahead and introduce B. Sue from Brookfield to kick off the applicant's presentation.
Good evening, council members, Mayor Nagy. We're very pleased to be here tonight. Thanks for the time to present. I just wanted to make sure, can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. So I'm B. Shu with Brookfield Properties. Pulling our presentation up. I'm going to kick us off, but before launching into it, I wanted to take a moment to thank Stephen Turner and the whole city team for the very intensive engagement they've had with us for the past couple of years. I think pretty much since the first day Stephen joined the city of Newark. We always say in our group here that nothing really worth doing is going to be easy, or else everyone else would have already done it. And this project is definitely a prime example of that. There's a high level of complexity here, and one with a lot of moving pieces that are all interconnected. But to us, it's worth the effort. What we're working on here in the city of Newark is really the leading edge for the future of malls. And I want to express our sincere appreciation to the city of Newark for your willingness to be forward-looking and to be aspirational as to what's possible here. So I'm going to start off by just giving a quick roll call so you know who's here from our development team. We have a robust group, as you can see here. You'll be hearing from myself and my colleague Sarah Klostermeyer during the presentation from Brookfield, and also from Kim Katz with Costco. We're also joined by our colleague Jim Barsamis with Brookfield in our retail group, and Joseph Welch also representing Costco, who's the lead on the design of the Costco building. Also with us, we have Erwin Yao and Winnie Wang from Thomas Cox Architects, TCA. They are the design firm for the Phase A residential building, and they've also assisted with a lot of the overall site master planning. We have Mike Kuykendall from Sandus. They are our civil engineers and have had the pen on all the infrastructure planning and the technical subplans. Sean Anderson with Barghausen Engineers, the design firm responsible for the Costco gas station. And some of our key technical consultants, Amy Lopez with Kittleson, and on traffic, Kittleson with traffic, and Eric Liu with Ramble on air quality. Last but not least, our Land Use and CEQA Council, Anna Shimko and Eric Phillips with Burke Williams and Sorensen. So they're all on the line, and if in the Q&A there's any more detailed technical questions, we have a full team here to help answer any of those. So to kick it off, I wanted to open with some of the macro concepts that have really been driving our overall vision, and that have also been driving our company's decision to invest significant amount of time and money over the past several years in planning the future of the New Park Mall. We all know that the retail world has been shifting dramatically in recent years, and through COVID-19, with the intensity of remote shopping that's come along with them, those shifts have become even more pronounced and accelerated. There really isn't a single one of us who doesn't shop differently now than we did a few years ago, much less 40 years ago when this mall was first built. And so with all these changes in behaviors and shifts in the industry, what does that mean to us as the owner and the operator of the mall? What it means to us is that the drive to visit a physical retail center is now a story that more and more every single day is about a flight to quality. And when we say quality, we no longer mean just the volume or the collection of merchandise and retailers, but what we really mean is the quality of the experience people have. So the consumer that is going to come out shopping in person wants an enjoyable experience in a place they feel good being, in a neighborhood that feels authentic. And that experience is as much about leisure and quality of life, food and entertainment, and the quality of the overall environment as it is about the actual shopping. Next slide. And so when we think about the future retail mix here at the Newark Mall, we know it has to be supported by those guiding principles. Yes, the mall still is and will always be a place to buy and try your clothes, your shoes, and your technology. But it's also a center that needs to serve other purposes, like your daily life, your wellness routine, your fitness routine, your beauty routine. It's a center that has to support household needs, like that weekly Costco run, home goods, and the stuff your kids need for their next sports season. And we also want it to be your Saturday night date, your dinner and a movie, or in the future, maybe it's an outdoor concert on the plaza, or in the future, maybe it's a stroll to a special event that's going on in the Sis Grove. And if it's a really good date, there's always that extra cocktail at Jack's. But most centrally, what we're talking about is it's a place where people want to be, and it's a place that they enjoy, feel good about spending their precious free time. And so our focus on our planning and urban design has been focused around that. It's the idea of community connections, the relationship of uses and the interstitial space that connects them that makes the neighborhood. And that plus the various community benefits that you'll hear a lot more about later in the presentation. These all are the things that will be the most impactful to the success of the overall place and the future success of New Park as a retail and neighborhood center. So with that introduction, I'm going to hand it over in a minute to my colleague, Sarah Klostermeyer, to walk us through the project details itself. Sarah and I said many prayers this morning to the technology gods, asking them to allow us to share with you a 3D fly-through. So we're going to attempt to start with that. So hopefully you can use that as a tool to help visualize with us these community spaces and the future of the Newark Mall.
Great, thank you so much, Bea, appreciate that. Good evening, everyone. As Bea said, my name is Sarah Klostermeyer with Brookfield Properties. We are very excited to be here this evening to share with you this new vibrant mixed-use neighborhood that will provide Newark with a true hub for residents to live, work, and play. And so I'd like to begin this evening with a 3D fly-through, which will help give a visual of the project at full build-out. We're excited to embark on this partnership with the city to bring the very best to the businesses and residences here. So we'll begin with the full site plan and the order of the construction phasing, which is currently contemplated. The first two phases to break ground will be the Costco and the Phase A project, which includes a residential building, redevelopment of the Sears box, and the Phase A public plaza. And so as we begin to fly through the 3D model, we're going to enter the site at the new gateway connecting to the community off of Maury and Alpenrose. And the first residential phase will be one of the catalyst projects, which is shown on the left-hand side here. And as we move down Alpenrose, we can start to see the public plaza that will be between the Phase A residential project and the redeveloped and retenanted Sears box, with a welcoming entrance to the mall and a mix of new tenants and restaurants with outdoor seating, which open up onto the plaza, which supports a vibrant pedestrian-friendly gathering and event space. There's a large event lawn here that provides opportunities to lounge, gather, and experience the green space. And as we move towards Restaurant Row, this provides an activated expanse of streetscapes that supports cafes and restaurants while providing access to the retail center. At the end of Restaurant Row, this will serve as a drop-off point and gathering space for visitors. And here you get a little peekaboo down the pedestrian paseo, which serves as the primary pedestrian connection from the mall to the Shirley Sis Grove. As we move up the hill and turn the corner at Macy's, you can see the new mall entrance, plaza, and the Costco, which is the other catalyst project re-anchoring the opposite end of the center. The streetscapes along Restaurant Row provide space for outdoor dining, small kiosks, seating opportunities, and potential areas for public art. The street here can also temporarily be closed to vehicles to support events such as block parties, markets, or craft fairs. So there are many opportunities to bring the New Park and Newark community together. And as we pan out of the project on North Magazine, you can see the abundant amount of wayfinding signage. And lastly, as we pan out, we can see the Shirley Sis Grove, which will be revitalized, redeveloped, and linked with new walkable connections to the retail center and the new residential mixed-use neighborhood. So I think the technology gods were on our side. Glad that worked for everyone. So moving into the Phase A residences, I think Stephen gave a good overview of the program here. What I would like to highlight is that this apartment building will be what is called a wrap building, which essentially is a parking structure which is built on grade. And surrounding this parking structure will be the 5 levels of apartments. And this helps to screen the parking garage from the street. It also provides a place for all of the residents to park within this parking structure. So this imagery here shows some of the prominent building elevations. The image on the top right is the focal corner of the project as you enter the new gateway to the Newark mixed-use project. There will be ample wayfinding signage to be provided, which will help direct visitors to the site. Active storefront space along Alpenrose includes resident serving amenities, the leasing office, lobby, and ground floor retail fronting the Phase A plaza. This will help bring residents down to the ground level and bring life and activity to the street and plaza. And the design of the streetscapes pays special attention to the tree species and planting materials, the hardscapes and sidewalks, and street furnishings, all helping to create an urban and walkable environment. The building elevations were designed with key corners that include tower elements with sloped roof forms to acknowledge the heightened visibility of the site and to provide scale to anchor the building. They have enhanced materials including metal panels, glass railings, and different colored stucco to articulate the facades. The exterior articulation pattern seeks to create a distinct building expression to provide scale and rhythm to complement the overall building mass. And the street-facing amenity spaces, lobbies, and retail spaces have aluminum storefront glass with high interior volumes and metal canopies and awnings, creating a pleasant pedestrian experience, which help ground the building for pedestrian scale. Now I'd like to switch over to the opposite end of the mall, where we are very excited to welcome a Costco. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Kim Katz from Costco, who can walk you through their plans in a little bit more detail.
Thank you, Sarah. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kim Katz with Costco. We're very excited to be part of the New Park Mall project, and Phil Costco will complement the proposed redevelopment by offering quality products and services at a fair price to the Newark and surrounding communities. Costco is a great business partner for Brookfield, the other retailers, and the future residents in the mall, and will serve as a stable anchor tenant for years to come. Costco currently has 57 locations in the Bay Area. We operate in 12 countries, and we have 813 locations globally. What's great about Newark is approximately 82% of the Newark households already are Costco members, and our market studies find a third unit is needed in this trade area. If you happen to shop at any of our closest locations, which are Fremont or Hayward, then you know they're very busy. And by adding another warehouse to this market, it will relieve pressure to these other locations and provide a closer and more convenient option to our members in Newark. We have other communities such as San Jose, South San Francisco, and Tustin, where our warehouses have similar spacing. And what we find is that we don't substantially increase new membership, but our existing members just come there more often since it's more convenient. Costco is known to be a great community partner by offering good paying jobs with an excellent benefits package. And some examples include our medical, dental, vision. We have an employee stock program. We have a college retention program and a 401k. And of course, our employees receive an executive membership with a 2% reward. These are just a few examples. At this new location, we're expecting to hire approximately 250 employees with an emphasis on hiring local qualified candidates. At Costco, we recruit primarily from within the community that we're located, and we strive to hire promotable employees with enthusiasm and, more importantly, a desire to build a career. Costco has a strong policy of hiring from within, and I'd say a vast majority of our senior executives started their careers working in a warehouse. Our commitment is to be active in our local community, and we budget 1% of our pre-tax profits to selected charitable contributions focused on children, education, and health and human services. Some of the charities include United Way, Children's Miracle Network Hospitals. We have a Costco Scholarship Fund, and we also help with disaster relief in the communities that we serve. Lastly, our business provides important sales tax revenue to the city, which in turn benefits the residents of Newark. Next slide, please. To orient you with the site plan, the warehouse entrance is in the northwest corner of the building, adjacent to the existing parking garage by the AMC Theater and near a mall entrance. This will provide our members with plenty of parking options, including the parking field in front of the building. You'll see our gas station is located on the quiet side of the building near receiving, where members can enter the gas station from the south and then exit either towards the warehouse parking field or onto the ring road. Next slide, please. We strive to design and construct our sites and buildings in an energy efficient, sustainable, and environmentally responsible manner. And Costco designs are consistent with CalGreen requirements, and we've chosen an architectural palette and design to complement the mall project, using mostly local and recycled materials. And with that, I'll turn it back to Sarah.
Great, thank you, Kim. Before closing this evening and opening up for questions, I'd like to spend just a few minutes touching on the community and the economic benefits the project will bring to the city of Newark and the Tri-City area. At full build out of the project, we anticipate, or we will have just under 850,000 square feet of retail and just over 1,500 residential apartment units. The anticipated construction duration will be 7 to 8 years. There will also be 1,100 annual construction jobs created during construction and 1,300 permanent ongoing annual jobs at project completion. Future residents will bring 24/7 life to the neighborhood and bring significant spending power to the retail center. The estimated net new annual tax revenue at full project build out is $6.6 million. As you can see from the graphic here, the mall, Costco, and the residential phases each provide roughly a third of this tax revenue, resulting in a very well-balanced and well-diversified revenue stream for the city. At Brookfield, we are proud to be a true builder of communities, and we welcome the opportunity to work collaboratively with the community to make a positive impact on the environments and the lives that we touch. Creating opportunities for local residents, and in particular, local young adults, to work on the construction of our project is a key component of this community building and is something Brookfield cares about deeply. We recognize that there are a wealth of community organizations and educational institution partners that provide construction job training services throughout the Tri-City area, and that success in engaging local residents and young adults will be best achieved through leveraging these community resources through collaboration and partnerships. And so how is this done? We have put together an opportunity workforce program that will ensure local residents from the Tri-City area are invited and encouraged to participate in the building of New Park, with the goal of hiring 30% of our workforce locally. Our project's OWP will be primarily implemented by the project's general contracting teams and will include the hosting of annual job fairs where all local organizations will be invited to attend. We've identified a location in the mall to host our first job fair early this fall prior to construction start. We also plan to participate in seminars, presentations, and site tours with the students of our local workforce and education partners. The contractors will collect data to track outreach efforts and local resident participation. Through our own research, as well as feedback from city staff and council, our project team has engaged with numerous local organizations to provide service to Tri-City residents. Of the organizations we've reached out to, we have developed a strong partnership with Mission Valley ROP, given the school's proximity to the project site and educational opportunities for high school students and the Newark and Tri-City area. Over the past 6 months, our team has leaned into forming a partnership with Mission Valley. We have presented a lesson plan to the construction technology and architecture and design classes and assisted graduating students with virtual mock interviews as they prepare to seek jobs. For the upcoming school year, the New Park team will be taking up a role as an industry advisor by providing advice and support to the classes on curriculum development. With the estimated 1,100 annual construction jobs that will be created during the construction over the next 7 to 8 years, we are confident that continued engagement with Mission Valley ROP, the city, and other important workforce development organizations can maximize construction opportunities available to local residents. So to recap a little bit from Stephen's presentation, touching on the community benefits, abundant open space will be constructed at the project. The 3-acre Shirley Sis Grove will be redeveloped with the second residential phase, and nearly 6 acres of public open space will be constructed throughout the project. Phase A will contain a 9% affordable housing component with a mix of very low, and moderate affordable levels. And it is estimated that new annual tax revenue of $6.6 million will be created at full project build out. Lastly, 1,100 annual construction jobs will be created during construction, with 1,300 permanent ongoing jobs at project completion. So in closing, I would like to thank staff for a very collaborative working relationship and partnership. We've spent a lot of time over the last 2 years pulling together all of the materials in preparation for this presentation tonight. We appreciate the support the City of Newark has shown for this future-looking vision and the collective commitment to the original intent and vision of the specific plan. And we are very excited and look forward to recreating the New Park Mall property into a thriving mixed-use community and a regional destination for everyone to enjoy for years to come. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. And with that, I think that completes the presentation, Stephen.
Yes, that's correct. Thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you. Then why don't we start with if the the council has any questions before I open the public hearing.
Yes, Your Honor, I have a couple of questions.
Okay, Councilmember Collazo.
Okay, Citibank that is presently located over on the Sears site, is that being relocated?
No, the Citibank would remain in its existing location.
Okay, so with the 319 units, if I remember correctly, we had like 1.5 parkings per unit. Is that correct?
Yeah, I might look to Deputy Director Interiano to comment on the parking for Phase A.
That's correct.
Okay, so do we, I saw the bus stop was over by the theaters. Do we have a bus stop near the apartment units?
Yeah, there's not a bus stop near the parking, near the apartments. The only bus stop at the moment is going to be the one at the AMC.
At the AMC. If they had,
That was through the discussions with AC Transit.
okay. If they have to walk from the apartment units to the AMC theater, how far of a walk is it? A 5-minute walk or so?
Yeah, it's fairly close.
Okay. Okay, I think that's it for right now.
Okay.
Thank
Okay,
you.
anybody? Okay, thank you. Anybody else? No. Okay, if not, then I'll declare the public hearing open on E.2, the hearing to consider a resolution amending the general plan, amending the New Park Place specific plan, approving design review for the Phase A residential project of 319 units, approving design review for 161,000 square foot Costco store with a 32 pump gasoline station, and approving an alternative means of compliance to payment of housing impact fees, a resolution approving a vesting tentative map and an ordinance establishing a planned development district and amending the zoning map, APN numbers 901-111-5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, and 33. And the project address is 2086 New Park Mall Road, APN number 901-111-19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. And the properties are zoned regional commercial, and the public hearing is now open. So, Ms. Slafter, do we have any public comment?
Ms. Slafter, you're on mute.
You're back on mute, Ms. Slafter.
Can people hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sohan, you may speak. You got 5 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor Nagy, Vice Mayor Bucci, City Manager Mr. Benoon, City Council members, dignitaries, and staff. I've been with the New York community since 1975. I own businesses locally and also in the community, which is close to New Park Mall. We were very excited when Brookfield came to our Rotary Club and gave the presentation of the New Park Mall vision. And I was also very excited when in the last city planning meeting, Mr. Turner gave a very detailed and very thorough presentation on what exactly was going to happen. There are a couple of questions I have that I would like to ask tonight, which just came up as the presentation was given. But before that, I want to conclude my thoughts on this thing. Over the years, since 1980, I've seen, due to customer new shopping needs and habits, our neighborhood city has adopted changes such as Union City, such as Fremont, but our own city has been crumbling. The New Park Mall is crumbling. Our city deserves to be the star city. Newark City needs an excitement neighborhood destination. And looking at this project, looking at what everything is entailing in this, I will strongly recommend that we approve this project. With the exception that one question that I do have, since we own the local businesses in the area, the egress and the ingress from the New Park Mall, as you make a right from Maury on New Park Mall Road, I understand there'll be traffic light going on in there. My concern is how many cars will be able to stack coming from New Park Mall going out to Maury. That will impact people being able to get in and out of the business, that area. Is the consideration been given? And if the consideration has not been given, I would like to strongly recommend that we give that consideration. And if there's any changes that we adopted now, and also during the construction period, since there will be a lot of traffic in and out of that area, I would like to also see that none of the businesses and the hotels and small restaurants, everything up there, they do not get negatively impacted. Thank you for my time.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sharma. Can anybody respond to the traffic situation that he presents?
Yes, I can, Your Mayor.
Okay.
So when we did our circulation analysis for the project, we looked thoroughly all the intersections, and specifically the one new signal that's coming in at New Park Mall Road and Alpenrose Court will be coordinated and interconnected with the signal that's on Maury. That means that there would be no stacking that would incur because of this coordination feature.
Okay, thank you.
And the second part of Mr. Sharma's question was regarding construction period impacts, and that is of a particular concern both to the city and to the Brookfield property owner. We want to make sure that customers can still enter not only the mall area, but all of the other properties within the specific plan area comfortably and safely during construction. We know that construction period brings its own set of impacts, but the city and Brookfield are committed to working together to make sure those impacts are reduced and mitigated to the extent possible. We'll have to learn as we go along. Certainly, we would want to have the input of other property owners and stakeholders in the area to help guide us and provide suggestion. We'll certainly take those and try to develop the best construction period plan as possible. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Turner. And any other public input? City
Yes.
Clerk, what's
Ben
left?
Sugru, you can speak now. Please unmute. You have 5 minutes.
Great, thank you. Can folks hear me?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Well, Mayor and City Council, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to you tonight. My name is Vince Agru, and I'm here representing 120 Newark families who are members of the electrical, plumbing, sheet metal, and sprinkler fitters unions. So over a year ago, we sent to the council in Brookfield a proposed construction workforce community benefits agreement. We still believe the terms of that agreement are what is necessary in order for Brookfield to meet its construction workforce obligations under the specific plan. We've worked with faith communities, and we've committed to doing an intensive effort to provide real career pathways for at-risk workers in the area's youth. We've set clear objectives for how many residents would benefit from this program. The city, Brookfield, nonprofit workforce development programs, and the trades all had tasks to fulfill and obligations to meet. So our proposal is based on the reality of how this type of construction project is built and the best practices of other similar programs in the region. And unfortunately, Brookfield's proposal tonight is based on neither. And the fact is, in order to maximize profits, few of the contractors awarded bids by Brookfield will be based in the area and will bring their workforce with them. This is almost by necessity, since the average wage for non-union construction workers is about $33,000 a year with few benefits. These workers can't afford to live here. To pad Brookfield's numbers, what typically happens is a worker is given a menial job moving construction materials around or holding signs, managing traffic. Once the contractor finishes their piece in a few months and leaves town, there is no place for that worker to go. So an opportunity to gain entry into a career pathway to the middle class is not an outcome of their proposal. And the specific plan for the new Park Mall states, 1, provide career opportunities, not just job opportunities, but career opportunities for area youth in the construction industry by employing local apprentices enrolled of California state certified apprenticeship programs, and 2, pay area standard wages to construction workers employed on projects enabled by the specific plan. So Brookfield's workforce plan presented tonight will not and cannot meet these goals. I ask the city to work with us to make sure Brookfield provides Newark with the type of workforce benefits it is committing to in other jurisdictions. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, thank you. And City Clerk Slafter, is there any other comment?
Yes, Raul Sharma, you may speak, 5 minutes. Please unmute.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Council, for letting me speak. As a resident of Newark, basically born and brought up here, and I'm sure as all of you guys know, the mall, that area has been needing some upgrades for a long, long time. And as the population of Newark is growing, we have a lot of people that are going out of the area to spend money, to go out dining, shopping. This is our basically one opportunity to make the city a destination for the Bay Area. As I talk to many of my friends, community members, and other people that live around here, everybody wants to go out, but the only place to go out, if you look at it, is going to be Milpitas or San Jose, or you go towards San Francisco. So for the tech hub, which Newark is becoming, I think this is a great opportunity for us to really become a center for everyone to meet. And many, many years ago, when you used to tell somebody that you live in Newark, they didn't know where the heck Newark was. They were like, what are you talking about? Then you'd say, I live next to Fremont. They'd say, oh, I know where that is. So I think Newark has come a long way. We are up and coming city, and this is our one chance to really, really improve jobs, city morale, and just make that whole destination a place where everything can come together. So I really hope that this proposal passes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sharma. And then Deputy Clerk Slafter, or is there any other public comment?
There are no more, Your Honor.
Okay. Then if there's not any more public comment, then I will close the public hearing. And why don't we start with our comments from our council? And I think I can probably start. Yes.
If I may, it looks like a member of the public just raised their hands. I know you just closed the hearing. Wasn't sure if you want to give that member of the public an opportunity to speak.
Yes.
Steve, you can speak. Please unmute. You have 5 minutes.
Hi there, I'm Steve Bowie. I'm actually the instructor at the Mission Valley ROP. I believe Sarah just talked about our program a few minutes ago during her presentation. Sorry, I couldn't get on anytime sooner. I have 2 kids I'm trying to put to bed at the same time. But I just wanted to say that so far we have had a pretty enjoyable experience with the Brookfield companies this year, especially during the pandemic. They gave a presentation and we're able to talk to the students and help students out. Mind you, the students I'm working with are sophomores to seniors in high school. So they're starting to get a little taste of the construction industry, and they seem highly pleased with the presentation and what's been going on and the stuff that Brookfield has been doing. Hopefully we can get something going with them on these projects in the coming future. Just wanted to put my 2 cents in there, and hope this goes through for the students and well, the community. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bowie. Okay, with that, the public hearing is closed. And I think I will start with the comments by, first of all, thanking Mr. Turner for getting us to this point. This may well be one of the most significant projects in our city's history if it's passed. And you know, the professionalism and the dedication and the hard work that has gotten us to this point should really be recognized. And this was an effort that began in 2013. And then 3 years ago, we approved the specific plan, the Newark Place specific plan. And the plan presented tonight has had some significant changes to it, which more closely aligns itself with the project being proposed. And I know that this has had to incur hundreds of hours of work to accomplish. And, you know, it was mentioned earlier that, you know, we recognized some prior staff who have done a lot on this project over the years. And so I kind of look at it like we're probably, we're driving for a touchdown and we're on the 5-yard line. The 49ers can relate to this in one of their failed Super Bowl appearances. That last 5 yards was never attained. And so, you know, the potential tonight is to attain the 5 yards. And the way we do that is with the work that our staff has done to get us to this point. So tonight we are being asked to change the specific plan, which would then move us to the next step, which I assume is going to be construction. And Mr. Turner, I do want to ask you that you please convey that our appreciation to yourself and your staff for a job well done, and you know, just amazing talents that you work with, and we appreciate that.
Thank you.
I'd also like to recognize the Brookfield folks for creating a vision of what is possible for New Park Mall and then acting on the vision. I want to thank those folks for including the on-site land-controlled units and working to provide jobs to local youth in the construction trades. And I think this is one of the important aspects of this project that should be underscored. Then there's a group of folks that perhaps don't get enough recognition on projects like this, and that's our own planning commission. And you know, every one of those members are committed to this community and only want what's best for it. And their thoroughness shows with every decision that they make. And certainly they made some good projects better because of their input. So I want to commend them and thank them for their hard work. You know, we received over 210 emails on this project, and it was overwhelming community support and even folks from outside of Newark, which we always get a lot of emails from around the Bay Area, but over 210 emails. And we don't normally get that kind of support on projects, but you know, that was good to see. I know the goal of this project is to develop a regional retail center, including shops, live, work, visit, dining, entertainment, and social activities, and a dog wash, I might also point out. And this is going to be done in 5 phases, I guess. And the first phase we're talking about tonight, and that's the addition of 319 dwelling units with an indoor parking and 3,700 square feet of retail, over 12,000 square feet of amenities, and a Costco. And, you know, that's, I think enough said about that. And the affordable housing component is going to include, 26 units of affordable housing with a preference to people living and working in Newark to the extent that the law allows. You know, and then Costco in itself will generate, what I think 250 jobs, permanent jobs in this community. And the overall mall revitalization will probably be over 1,000 jobs in this area. just an amazing transformation that is being proposed tonight. So, with that, there's, I like the fact that they've been proactive in working with the Mission Valley ROP and the Rising Sun and Cypress Mandela and others during this process. And Council Member or Vice Mayor Bucci certainly, had a hand in some of that, and want to thank him for his work there. And one last thing I'm going to say is that I appreciate their thoughtfulness as it pertains to Newark's history, where they named one of the streets they've called it both. They've called it Newark Avenue and Newark Road. But for the sake of historical accuracy, the name of the road that leads to Newark Castle in Glasgow, Scotland is Newark Road. So I've noticed Newark Avenue has kind of taken on a flavor there, but if you want to be historically accurate, you call it Newark Road. So with that, I'm going to close my comments for now and ask other council members if they have comments that they'd like to make.
I would,
Anybody?
Your Honor. Yes, sir.
Council Member or Vice Mayor Bucci.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would just like to echo some of your comments, just thanking staff and especially Community Director, Mr. Turner, who hit the ground running with this project right when he joined the city and has done an excellent job with this. I certainly appreciate the work Brookfield has done, not just coming up with the plan, but surrounding the local workforce program. We had a great meeting about it yesterday, and I'm satisfied with some of the outreach to ROP and Cypress Mandela and such. I share some of the concerns with some of the labor folks in town, and I think that we're definitely heading down the right path, and Brookfield seems to definitely be on board with the spirit of which the workforce program and, giving a lot of opportunity to Newark kids and young adults. So we have more meetings scheduled for the coming weeks, and I think that we should hopefully have some details and some quantified guarantees in the coming months. So I'm certainly happy with and satisfied with the direction and that's headed and the steps we've taken up to this point. So,
okay, thank you very much, Vice Mayor. Other comments?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Councilmember Collazo.
I just want to thank staff and Brookfield for the wonderful jobs that they've done. And you hit on a point about all the emails that we've received. Other projects, we've received emails, but it's always been against the project. And at the first time, I didn't know I was supposed to save them. I was petrified when they said, "Did you save all your emails?" So I have a file saving all these emails, but they're all wonderful emails, stating that they're looking forward to our mall becoming this grand place to spend time and eat and shop and enjoy life. So I just wanted to echo on some of the things that you had said, and I'm excited.
All right, great. Other comments?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Yes, Councilmember Hannan.
Thank you, Mayor. I echo all the comments that have been made by you, Mayor, and my colleagues. We've seen a significant transformation of our community just in the last 5 years. I thought we had reached a high point when we saw the new vision for our Civic Center project. And now we not only saw that vision, but we've now seen it constructed, and we now see staff working outside of a state-of-the-art Civic Center. So we're kind of at that stage now where we see the vision has been established for the New Park Mall, and we're now ready to launch into the implementation stage. And I'm just excited about the direction that our city is going. We have built hundreds and hundreds of quality housing throughout our community. We've encouraged businesses and retail and industry to come into our community. The city of Newark is no longer what was back in the day. It's transformed, but maintained its small community atmosphere, which we certainly appreciate. I want to thank Brookfield. I think they've done an outstanding job with this project. And I'm really excited about the fact that this project does include affordable housing. We, the city, have collected millions of dollars in affordable in lieu fees over the years. And at some point, we will begin utilizing those funds to build much needed low-income housing for our residents, or affordable housing for our residents. But in this particular case, where Brookfield could have simply wrote a check to the city for $5.4 million and not be obligated to build any affordable housing units. They worked with city staff and they came up with a plan to build 29 affordable housing units. 9% of the first phase will be affordable housing. So needed in our community. We talk about affordable housing, but here we're able to demonstrate we're not just talking about it, but we're actually building it. And I'm excited about the next 2 to 5 phases that are going to be coming into our community in hopes that that dialogue in terms of the need for affordable housing will continue. We'll be able to see more affordable housing units built for our community. So I want to thank Brookfield for that. When we were first suggested that Costco was going to be coming to Newark, I can't tell you, Kim, how excited we were to hear that. I think the New Park Mall is a perfect location for a Costco. It's right next to the freeway. It's a central part of the Tri-City area. It's going to attract a lot of customers that are either going to Hayward or going down to Fremont. It's going to be convenient for our residents. And to hear that 82% of Newark residents are Costco members. I'm a Costco member, love going to Costco, and I appreciate your making that commitment to our community because you've established an outstanding business model to which you should be proud of. And I know our community is going to certainly take full advantage of. So I enthusiastically support this project moving forward. And again, thank Brookfield, city staff, and Costco for all the hard work you did to bring this project to us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments?
Yes, yeah, I just like to take this opportunity.
Councilmember Freitas.
I'd like to take this opportunity to thanking Mr. Turner and this team for this great job, countless hours. And like the Vice Mayor said, we started about 2013 when you joined to the city. So, and you embraced this cause. So thank you for you and your team. And the Brookfield for this, I consider this a fantastic project for our city, for our enhancement of our city. And I believe the Newark residents all will benefit from this. So congratulations to all, and we all benefit overall on this project. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, if there's no further comments, I'll ask for a motion. What is the council's pleasure?
So moved.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Okay, moved by Vice Mayor Bucci, seconded by Councilmember Hannan.
Your Honor, this is Chris. Just to confirm, that motion includes the recommended revision to the resolution that Mr. Turner had suggested. I just want to confirm that.
Mr. Mayor, my motion included the amendment items, the rezoning, all the items for Mr. Turner, and the approval of the projects tonight.
Okay.
And my second reflected the same, Mayor.
Okay, and a lower pay for the city attorney, right? Okay. So Deputy City Clerk Slafter, would you please call the roll?
Yes, Councilmember Freitas,
Yes.
Councilmember Collazo,
Yes.
Councilmember Hannan,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Bucci,
Aye.
Mayor Nagy.
Yeah, I think this requires a heck yes.
All right, the motion passes 5 ayes.
Resolution of the City Council of the City of Newark amending the New Park Place specific plan, amending the new Newark general plan, approving design review, and approving alternative means of compliance to payment of housing impact fee for a phased residential and commercial development within the New Park Place specific plan area. Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Newark establishing a planned development overlay district within the New Park Place specific plan area. Resolution of the City Council of the City of Newark approving vesting tentative map 8489 for a phased residential and commercial development at 2086 New Park Mall Road.
Yowza.
Okay, then with that, congratulations, Brookfield and Costco. We look forward to putting some shovels in the ground ASAP. So thank you all very much and good luck to you. Okay, with that, the next item of business is other business, and there is no other business. So we'll go to council matters. And under council matters, I would just remind people that our next meeting, we go silent in August. So our next meeting will be September 9th. It'll be live meeting has been guaranteed in the council chambers, the new council chambers at David W. Smith City Hall. Okay, and with that, Councilmember Hannan.
Thank you, Mayor. I think we accomplished some outstanding projects this last year. I think we're all certainly deserving of an August recess so we can get back on the ground running in September. So thank you for your leadership. It's a pleasure working with my colleagues, and have a safe August.
Okay, thank you. And then Councilmember Collazo.
Thank you, Your Honor. You know, we're so busy here at Newark trying to accomplish all these great things for our city. And I saw on the news today, San Francisco is spending $20,000 on each garbage can that they're putting out on their city streets. Where do they get this money to spend $20,000 on each garbage can? I can't believe it. What could we do with $20,000? So I just want to say, you know, yes, to our city staff, we don't do silly things like that here in Newark. We're very cautious about our spending money that, you know, we're trying to save for our residents and bring them all the services that we can. And shop Newark.
Thank you very much. And with that, Councilmember Freitas.
Not your honor tonight, just enjoy your recess time.
All right. And Vice Mayor Bucci.
Thank you, Your Honor. With great risk to my personal safety from city staff and library staff, I'm going to say that we will be gone in August, but we are targeting a soft opening of the library. It will not be completely done, but we hope to have some books and things in there, start running some programs out of there by, fingers crossed, August 23rd. So a very soft opening. Yeah, staff right now is behind the scenes shaking their heads mad at me because we're definitely aiming for that date, but we're no guarantees. But you know, if you don't put it out there, you can't make it happen. If you're gonna achieve it, you got to conceive it. So August 23rd, soft opening of the library. We're looking forward to it, and have a great August.
Okay, and you know, again, thank you and City Manager Benoon for your leadership on getting the library moving. You know, with that, you know, David's been kind of quiet tonight, but it's kind of be the kind of quiet that is a pride kind of quiet because, you know, this staff is what David has assembled and, you know, they do some wonderful work. And David, it's a tribute to and a testament to the process that you go through in hiring people, but also in the leadership that you provide to this organization on a day-to-day basis. And, you know, we wouldn't be the organization we are without your leadership. So thank you very much. And with that, there is no closed session this evening, so we are adjourned. Have a happy August recess.
Bye, everybody.